it's my pleasure to welcome you to the continuation of your news and current affairs program coming to you live from our Lagos Network studios on the ITV network. I am Joshua Okata. On the program today, our focus is on Akwa Ibom State with respect to the governor, Umo Ino, who has already, as it were, perfected his defection or migration, if you call it, to the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC. And of course, he has also extended his warm appeal, which some have also misunderstood to be a threat to his cabinet members, asking them to join him as he moves to the All Progressive Congress, APC, or risk their offices. What's your take on this? Of course, the governor has cited several reasons which he believes are germane for his defection to the All Progressive Congress. Do you really think that these reasons are realistic enough to warrant such defection to the All Progressive Congress? Do you see chances that the cabinet members might likely join him as he defects to the All Progressive Congress? These are some of the issues that we'll be discussing this morning, and I'm being joined by Mr. Ubong Thompson. He is the coordinator, Arise Agenda Awareness Advocacy. Good morning, Mr. Ubong, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Mr. George.
All right, now let's go into our conversation. Since the defection, wave, as it were, started in full scale, especially given the fact that the governor, in the person of Sheriff Oboreviri, and of course his predecessor in the person of Ifeanyi Okowa, defected to the ruling All Progressive Congress. There has been speculations and counter speculations as regards other opposition governors who are likely to join, the defection to the ruling All Progressive Congress. We have the person of Chukwuma Soludo of Anambra State. We have Peter Mba of Enugu. We also have rumors that the Osho State governor in the person of Adeleke might also join, the camp, especially the ruling All Progressive Congress. But of course, as we have it now, it is confirmed that the governor of Akwa Ibom State is ready to move in to the ruling All Progressive Congress. What's your take as regards the issue about reasons given by the governor for his defection? Are they really realistic enough, or just a mere excuse, as one of the governors in the person of Okowa, who once said that the movement, as it were, is not just a defection, but a movement, as it were?
Well, George, I would like to say that the current scenario in the country, as we presently experience, is very, very unfortunate. But considering the political atmosphere in the country, where situation where leadership are being very deceptive and unsincere with the democratic tenants, we quite understand that in a democracy, irrespective of the unit of government that anyone belongs to, they are supposed to operate as independently, without fear or without any pressure from any quarter for any, person to, want to defect from his political party to another. Because if the Constitution made the provision for every unit of government to operate independently, then we are supposed to have a situation where local governments, councillors, governors, and then House of Assembly members, federal and state, can operate based on the the provision of democracy and the Constitution, which is to represent the people and not their personal interest. But what we have today and what we see is political actors throwing away the interests of the masses or the people that voted them into power, and then, going all head on with their personal interests. So we are not supposed to find ourselves in a situation where, as a governor elected under the platform of any political party, will be, thinking of defecting from his party to the ruling party, what does he want that he cannot offer? In as much as allocation has been, duly and timely, allocated to each of the states and the units. So what the people really, are interested about is development, irrespective of which political party you belong to. Nigerians, as we speak, are yearning for basic life amenities like water, good roads, electricity, and then education and healthcare. So in the absence of all these things, defecting from one political party does not solve any of the challenges faced by Nigerians.
Okay, now let me pause you for a while. I'm going to take certain, submissions that you've just made. But before I do that, there is this statement, that people, make that the fear of EFCC, as it were, is the beginning of wisdom. Now, looking at it side by side with Ifeanyi Okowa, who was once arrested by the EFCC over his misappropriation, to the tune of 1.3 trillion from his state, and now he has found himself back to the APC. Some persons have also quoted an alleged statement by the former governor of Edo State in the person of Adams Oshomole, who once said that as a sinner, if you find your way into the ruling All Progressive Congress, your sins are forgiven. Do you see any resemblance, as it were, with the defections that we have seen in recent times, given that of the former Delta State governor and his successor, and that of the current governor of Akwa Ibom State in the person of Omoino? Have that at the back of your mind, while I'm also going to pose a second question to you about the issue of deceptive leadership. Put that together and respond.
On the issue of Okowa, I wouldn't want to comment a lot on that, because even the law made us to understand that an alleged, once there is an allegation, it has to be established. I've not learned of any, established allegation against Mr. Okowa, Dr. Okowa, as we speak.
But it's already in the public domain anyway.
It might be on the public domain, right. But all what I would have loved to see is the EFCC, taking the matter to court and then charging Dr. Okowa for misappropriation, which will amount to, him standing trial in the law court. But in the absence of that, it's just a hearsay, or it's a rumor which we cannot substantiate. So for him to have joined APC, it's incumbent on him. I keep talking about the...
So does it mean that his sins have been forgiven, as it were, borrowing the alleged statement attributed to Adams Oshomole?
Yeah, he might be forgiven by the 8 years of Tinubu, but Nigerian government is continuum. Okay. So, however, I knew by the time other successive government come on board, they want to look into, records. Okay. What happens in 1999? What happened in 2000? What happened in 2025, and so on? So question will be asked, and Okowa will have questions to answer if he has any. So looking at Akwa Ibom as a state, and the governor himself, planning to defect from PDP, you understand that in this particular scenario, is in his own, thoughts and feeling and judgment, and these are situations that you tend to realize who a leader is, taking decisions that are even unfavorable to even the masses, but might have long-standing rewards, at the end of the day. So if he has, taken that decision to defect to APC, I, for once, at the initial time when I started hearing about the rumors, I was not comfortable at all. But when he began to give reasons of his defection, and then if you also can trace back to, the aftermath of the elections, this was one of the governors that, tried to connect to the central government by going to, congratulate His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu And in that trip, he also made it known that he has full support for the Senate President, Dr. Godswill Akpabio. So this were the footage that every wise Nigerian would have understand his affinity with these central bodies. That
So
there's
by virtue of
loyalty,
that,
that is given to this central, government, in which probably has emanated and prompted the revelation that we are having today, and the reason why probably he wants to work with the central government to be able to attract larger benefit to his people.
okay, so now let's look at one of the reasons he cited as regards why he is moving. He said that my decision was influenced by PDP's failure to resolve its internal disputes at the national level, which could pose legal risk for candidates during election. This statement that he has just made, does it corroborate with what some Nigerians say, that the average Nigerian politician thinks about the next election while leaders think about the next generation? What's your take given this statement that he has just made?
I think in the issue of the next generation, the governor, Pastor Omoino, right from inception, has come up with so much developmental projects that has cut across all the all the regions, the local government, the wards, and he has carried out, construction of roads and bridges, and giving so much empowerment to the people, building compassionate homes for elderly and the need days of the society, and then setting the state in a trajectory of growth. And that is what transgenerational leaders thinks about development, which I believe in the last 2 years he has been able to deliver. Because if you look at the foundation he has laid in the healthcare sector, you see a lot of primary healthcare facility being built across the state.
Okay,
you look
so
at the issue of education, the remodeling of the remodeling of schools scattered around the senatorial district of the state. These are to make sure that it creates enabling environment, which is the primary duty of government, to create enabling environment for economic growth and attraction of investment.
All right, so you tend to be singing his praises. Now let me ask you, given the fact that he has done so much, as you claim, when it comes to developmental project, in your previous submission you talked about, in Nigerian context, having leaders, political leaders, who cannot operate independently without fear. If truly Umoino has done this much for his people, where is the fear coming in that is making him to join his colleague in defecting to the ruling All Progressive? If he thinks that the party has given him so much of a platform to be able to do this much, why the defection? Now, I'll ask you a few questions, but just quickly attend to that quickly.
I would like you to replace that fear with faith.
No, you said it that it is in the Nigerian context that they cannot
I said
operate
it.
without
I
fear.
said it, but it's this perspective, and in this particular person, as we speak, he has no skeleton in his cupboard.
So why is he running to the
He
ruling
does not
All
need to
Progressive?
run away. Rather, he's running to APC, as I've been made to understand, because he need to attract larger benefits, larger
But he
rewards,
said
larger
in his statement that
in
he is
this
running
state.
away for
To the
fear
state.
of having issues with legal tussle during the election. Different of invariance with what you just said.
That is one of the reasons, I may say, probably because we don't have, the PDP at this factional stage that we have, having two factions in the secretariat, has, caused this, political, unrest in the party, which give rise to, any reasonable political actor like the state governor, Pastor Omoino, having to want to defect to another party, because he who fight and run away, lives to fight another day. First of all, he has to survive whatsoever legal tussle that might emanate after, political parties' elections or government elections, to be able to, give, reasonable deliveries of excellent governance to the people. He has to survive. He has to be able to be governor, first of all, before we can talk about development at the state.
But
and he does not want anything that would thwart that development.
He is now the governor. Why is he thinking of the next election? Is he not supposed to focus more on governance, claiming that by giving what you've just said, that he has done much for the people? So why is he concerned about the next election?
Sure, he doesn't need to wait till probably the situation, for instance, that happens in Rivers State comes to meet him at home. So what he sit down to see is, as a pastor and a political, as the person that wears the shoes, us that is outside there might not be able to see it with him. So the APC has made it known to all Nigerians that their mission is to capture the entire South states.
Say that again.
And that has been a mission they are not, relenting on.
You have to repeat that statement, that the APC mission.
They made it known. The chairman of APC made it open. He made an open remarks.
Yeah,
it's in the public.
That what?
That their mission is to capture the entire South states.
So
for APC.
So does that give room for Umoino's fear?
It does not.
That if he doesn't yield, what would happen?
That's what I'm saying.
It's just a coincidence, isn't it?
It's a coincidence because as we have Pastor Umoino in Akwa Ibom State, he has made some foundational developments, which he has also know that he has to move ahead. There are issues like seaport. There's issue of abandonment of Ascon company, aluminium smelter company. There are issues of the, developing the oil and gas zone in Akwa Ibom State. And the state governor, as a state, cannot carry out this gigantic project all alone.
But they say government is a continuum.
He needs the support.
Can he not do what he can part-time? If he's unable to finish it, successive government will take over. Still within the same party, does he need to cross carpet, as it were?
Sure, he has a developmental blueprint, which is the Arise agenda, which we advocate for a good and quality implementation of that agenda.
So what stops him from sticking to that blueprint, as it were? Why cross carpet?
He's sticking to the blueprint, as we know. But what I'm saying is that he needs to connect to the center government, because the Nigerian politics of today is not the politics that you sit back and fold your hands and believe your allocation is coming. With that, you'll be able to, settle some, scores in your state. It goes beyond that. And you also need to align with these nation actors to be able to attract better development to your state, as it is today. So these are realities. These are realities. These are things we found practiced in Nigerian politics today. So time has changed, and change is the most constant thing in life. Okay. So if things in Nigeria has actually changed, then if you are a political actor, you need to change along with what is happening in the country.
All right. Now, we'll be taking some other submissions from you as soon as we return from this break. Please do stay with us. Thank you so much for staying with us. And of course, if you're just joining, we've been talking Akwa Ibom State, and of course the governor's defection in the person of Umoino and his appeal to his cabinet members to join him, else they risk their office. We've been having this conversation with our guest in the person of Ubom Thompson, who has been giving us perspective as regards the reasons behind his defection. Now, let me come back to you, Mr. Thompson. Talking about the appeal, or otherwise known as the threat, as alleged by the governor to his cabinet members. First, he made mention of the fact that the cabinet members were acting or pretending as if they weren't aware. giving his statement, which I'm going to quote him verbatim. It says, "It's no more news that I am moving from the party, but if you don't know that by now, I don't know what else you know." What's your take as regards that?
Well, that was a categorical statement made by the State Governor, Pastor Moino, to his cabinet members and supporters, which I view it as a father to children discussion, and might not necessarily amount to a trait. You understand? It's just a way of reminding the children that, okay, I've chosen to embark on this particular joining, and it's incumbent upon every one of you to prepare yourself and then, you know, join me in this joining. So for people that are taking it as a trait, let them also understand that Pastor Omoino, I'm not defending him, but from what he has put on ground so far, uniting every sector, every person's political bigwigs in the state, irrespective of their political affiliations. You see the reconciliation effort he made between the Senate President and the former Governor Udom Emmanuel. You see the uniting of all the factions, even that of those that contested election against him, like Mr. Bassi Albert. You see him, you know, preaching unity, oneness, harmony, all for the interests of the state, because development can only strive in a, you know, in an atmosphere of peace, and which he has undoubtedly carried the mantle that was, you know, given to him to make sure there is peace in the land. So, having done that, he believes his heads and cabinet members has to believe in his cause, believe in his actions, believe in his decisions. They don't need to believe in rumors. He says he does not have body language, that nobody should, you know, look at body language, that things that he wants is, he will say the way it is.
But if you claim that he's a father, as it were, who is addressing his supposed children, now, do you think that making such a statement in that manner, you know, puts him in the position of a leader, saying that if they do not know by now that he is defecting to the ruling All Progressive, then he doesn't know what they know? Now, if you claim that that's not a threat, how about the issue of saying that, well, they are not under obligation to move with him, but should they decide to stay, then they should be ready to vacate their office? Is that not a subtle threat?
Never a threat, Mr. George.
So what do you call
I would
a threat?
say, you know, is an option. You know, he's not coercing or pressurizing anyone to go with him on the joining. Just a subtle reminder that, okay, I'm running on this case. Would you like to join me or not?
Who is ready to lose his job?
Your option is yours.
Who is ready to lose his
so
job?
If you want to go with him, you join on the train. If you don't want to, it's still your option.
Do you think that there's anyone within the cabinet that is ready to lose their job? That's the question I'm asking.
For all the cabinet members to take their own decision without being pressurized to do so. And that was a subtle, you know, approach that the state governor used, you know, to speak to his cabinet members. And it depends on which side of the coin the cabinet member now, you know, perceived the instruction or the submission that was given to them. So, to me, having seen Pastor Moino to have been someone that promotes unity, oneness, and want to believe, he wants to also connect himself to the center of power, you know, having found out that the state capacity alone cannot, you know, help him to actualize his Arise Agenda blueprint, he decided to opt out to connect with the center government. And then I think we should be on the positive outlook than the negative or fear.
All right. So while we are not being on the negative, we wish him well in his endeavors. But to wrap up this conversation, what's your take as regards chances that his cabinet members may all in entirety move with him or not?
I might not be in the best position to speak for his cabinet members, but as at today, on the information I've been able to gather, I understand that the cabinet members, have decided to go, where the governor goes, because they have found it to be a worthy leader. A leader under 2 years has delivered massive development in the state, and has also been able to manage the resources of the state judiciously. As we speak, the man has not borrowed a dime, against the other, probably other governors that are running from one coffer to another to borrow money, to finance their infrastructures. But he hasn't. So he's building a better future for the Akwa Ibomite.
Right.
And he wants to join the central government of President Tinubu to, build a better Nigeria.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Ubong Thompson, Coordinator on Rise Agenda Awareness Advocacy, for your time.
Thank you so much, George.
All right. So that's our offering for you from our Lagos Network studios. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be rounding up and, of course, handing you over now to Benin Network studios.